Hello, everybody. Hi there. My name is Arson Obsessions, also known as Abby, and I am joined today by a lovely, wonderful individual. You, I do Will Smith pose.
Hi everyone, it's me, Vwild, on the bullshit in a different vein today. It's
Uh-huh.
gonna be fun! It's gonna be fun!
hmm Today we have, for all of your entertainment, we have our 12 FPS called Bump in the Night, featuring my character. I hold up Petra Biduri, who, if you're familiar with her, you would know that she is from Owl's Dreamer's Crest campaign normally. So, hee.
Hee hee hoo hoo hoo. Meanwhile, I am playing a vast range of other characters, of many
Yeah,
beautiful, wonderful names, and
yeah.
some less
Er,
kind beings who are also here.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're playing a surprise. The
Yes, I'm
surprise will
playing.
come later.
Indeed, indeed. And four wonderful, wonderful dwarves. Nothing's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen to them.
But yeah, speaking of dwarves, let me set the scene, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
We are opening our game upon a war-torn Einquell, a distant erasure ago. A long, long time ago, before the current history that anyone remembers. Though we don't open on the surface of the world where the battles of conquest rage from the armies of the Antlered King. No, instead, we open deep below the earth, far, far lower than most ever dare to delve, directly beneath a city of dwarves, nestled deep within a mountain, resting in Einquell's very center. It is here, in these twisty, turvy, very strange caverns of the uncanny valley, that we open upon a group of dwarves. One of which is a familiar face, Petra Biduri. Her kind of like darker skin and long black hair tied into a long ponytail behind herself, dressed in full plate armor. Because, well, if you're going to be delving in such depths, you must be prepared, especially for the unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You really
Yeah.
should.
Uh-huh.
And Petra did come down with like a large group, but has
Mm-hmm.
now branched off into a smaller group.
Mm-hmm.
They're a nice bunch. They're a nice
Mm-hmm.
bunch. I
Mm-hmm.
realize I've never quite fully envisioned them in my head.
Mm-hmm.
We have got like an older dwarf called Gabbro Deepmantle. Very nice, very much the oldest of the group. Bit of a quiet. You do not get a reaction from him. Whether he
Mm-hmm.
whether he's minding the others or just genuinely just that, stone like. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. And then you got Slate Safin, a wonderful ranger, and Slate's good. New to the field, they're doing their best. Very much happy that they've got Brechia Brightkiln, their fellow ranger. Just show the ropes, work with, and we're in a nice solid group. So it's a real good plan. You've got your
Mm-hmm.
ranger and your backup ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a good thing that you've got, pretty strong fighters, pretty hardy people. Because then we have a Mutiara, who's a wizard. And
A
she,
wizard.
yeah, they've tried to convince her to wear the full armor, and bless her, she probably fell over in trying. So
Yeah.
she's not a strong one, bless her cotton socks, but she's a real good wizard. And so they just went, okay, we're in a big group. We'll go ahead. You'll be able to
Mm-hmm.
you'll to do some exercising of your magic, and everything's gonna be fine. And besides,
Mm-hmm.
you are really enthusiastic to go into the valley. And we need some light-hearted in these times.
We need a comedy relief in these difficult times.
Yeah.
hmm Speaking of which, I should provide a little bit more context for the situation at hand. There is a large uh group of dwarves separate from this current group, which are all exploring the depths of the uncanny valley far beneath their usual home. Because as I mentioned before, the world above is currently being laid to conquest by the Antlered King. It is a war that is stretched on many years before Petra was alive and will surely stretch many years after,
Mm-hmm.
if given the expected turnabout. Uh, this city of dwarves actually aligned with the Antlered King. However, given his history, it is very likely that he could turn on them should they disagree with him. And
Mm-hmm.
and should that come to pass, this is their backup plan. Currently, this rather large search party of dwarves is scouring the depths of these caverns to find a way out. Essentially, find a way to evacuate the city if needed and to get out with hopefully as little casualties as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're here to do. They're here to map out everything and to make sure that there is a a an actually safe-ish destination to travel so that they can get out if needed.
Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place kind of situation. At least
Yeah.
at least you got a little hope going down. I mean, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. It's the blooming uncanny valley at the same
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
Well, then
maybe
again, it's the uncanny valley, and yet it's all stone. It's all rocks. It's all things that dwarves like Petra are more familiar with than most other races.
Indeed.
Hmm.
It's you've got the skills for it, so especially if you've got the skills for it and other people don't,
Yeah.
it's gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bit safer if you have to haul ass down there with everyone, including the kids.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So I think from there, should we dive in?
Let's dive in.
So this group has split off from the main body, and they're journeying down this humble five. And you have been going for a bit. It's a bit of a bit. It's thankfully it's a straight cavern for the most part, so you're not gonna, take a left and take a left and take a left, and where the hell are we?
Hmm. Hmm.
You've got
Yeah.
you've got two rangers, and they are
Hmm.
both pointing out things to each other and writing things down on the map. Which
Hmm.
Gabro then has the map, so they don't lose it or squabble and
Hmm.
it goes off or any other manner of things. You've
Hmm.
got the how's Petra feeling during it all?
Hmm. I feel like given how vast of this task is, this is probably like a few days into the journey of like just doing this same repetitive task.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably a mixture of bored and somewhat alert.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only so much cave you can go through before everything starts looking the same, which is why she's mostly relying on uh the others who are, the ranger folk to be able to navigate their way back. But she herself, she's basically here to be strong, she's here to be heals, she's here to help when needed.
Mm-hmm. Something Gabro greatly appreciates. And Marl, given wizards' habits of accidentally getting into incidents.
Yeah. Yeah.
There may have been an incident with the Uncanny Valley spiders. Just
Not the spiders.
you think everything's fine. You think everything's fine. It looks cute. You pick it up. No.
Now there's 50 of them.
Everyone else here
Suddenly.
Everyone needs healing that night.
Yeah. Marl has
Marl's
probably gotten so many stern talkings to, and like, don't touch the thing before we know what it is.
exactly. It's
Please.
at this point, it's there will always be someone next to Marl at every moment. Gabbro is literally pulling the parent. They don't have a child leash, but just always stand near the wizard.
Always stand near the wizard before the wizard can do something dumb.
Which probably does mean that Slate is there as well, just, so Marl doesn't go, what if we look at that thing? What if we look at the moss? And so they get, and so you have to wait while Marl, casts Detect Magic on the moss and nearly blinds herself because everything's magic down here, Marl.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is probably Breccia's like slightly just, made our way towards Petra. Just we are the sane people in this group. We are both bored, but this is something we have to do, and we're doing it well at the same time.
Mhm.
We don't want to be around the boring impulse control one.
Uh,
Everyone has learned to fear Slate just going, concept, help me, and then something happening.
yeah. Uh,
As we're going down, you can roll investigation or perception, I guess. Either one works
oh,
for.
I'll do perception, not investigation for Petra.
I'm going with that's a negative on the investigation.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so it would be
Fun for something later.
plus E4 perception. Boop. Oh, 9. Oh, honey.
Bless. It's
Bless.
you keep going through. They are long, twisting parts of the caverns and such, and it's just all the same, Petra. Even when it stretches out, and so you can see high up above you in a way that maybe should be possible, maybe shouldn't you not? Yeah, but there are parts that stretch out or parts that go into the deep, and you're still walking along, and you're walking along. Every now and then, the torchlight flickers on the walls strangely. The shadows seem weird, but it's every time you look, it's just rocks. It's
just rocks. So many stinking rocks.
many stinking rocks. Not even cool rocks. No, it just all looks the same. It's a dungeon crawl, except you don't even have the fun of things to fight in a dungeon.
I feel like every time Petra kind of like gets lost in the thoughts of, oh, that doesn't make sense, she kind of forces herself to stay on the path at hand. Because I feel like there would have been training, especially for this endeavor, of like the uncanny valley is gonna have things you can't comprehend. Don't comprehend them. Don't try to.
It's unfathomable. Specifically, do not try and fathom.
Yeah, just find a path that's stable enough and won't change on you. One that we can use in an emergency.
Straight up, next to Petra, there is Breccia just every now and then, just forcibly looking down at the map that she's got on her armor. Like she's got an armor plate on her arm and she's writing on it to get it. We'll take it back to the main map so they can build it. And she just looks up every now and then, just goes, "It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. Don't fathom it. Do not fathom." Right.
Oh, you can say that again.
I'd love to, but it echoes here anyway. All right.
Did you notice that in the last cavern there was no echo? That was weird. Stone's supposed to echo.
It is. It is. I mean, it's better. It's better than the spider cave, where they just kept multiplying everywhere. They spawned out of nowhere. Hey, that was weird. one
Like
glitch through the floor.
shadow. Like shadow spiders.
Oh, don't bring that into existence. Don't.
Right,
We don't,
right.
honestly, this place plays tricks on you. Well, could be worse. We could be further back with the I Spy with My Little Eye game.
I think Petra does glance back at that.
Yeah. Slate is actively looking at you guys with the help me expression. And there is just Marl happily chattering on. Gabbro seems to be entertaining her, or he might just be staring at her and figuring out what exactly he's doing with his life. You're not entirely sure.
Gabbro voice, what is she on about? What is she on
Exactly.
about this time?
Exactly. Like, Marl is around your age, maybe even slightly younger, and it is just so. Oh, God.
Dang, that is pretty young for a dwarf, because I'm gonna hand you a little bit of Petra lore. Uh, Petra is actually only in like her late 40s, which for a dwarf is pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
It's just she was one of the more capable healers even for her age, so she was selected for this task.
Mm-hmm. So, actually, probably slightly older, but still young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the, you're going to need to learn this eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't have any more chaos within the main home, so you're coming on this trip.
You're coming with us.
You're coming with us, you're going to get some enrichment, some moral backbone, and some interesting life skills. Everyone, several days later, this was a mistake. This was a mistake.
Go to the uncanny valley, they said. It'll build character, they said.
Probably a line that Marl has actually used. But Bracu just goes, alright. It's when we get to the next coven or so, we'll all meet up and we'll build the notes and everything, and I don't know, set up for food or time's weird. Time's weird. I'm pretty sure it's a mealtime.
Does Gabbro still have that what was it called? A watch from the where did he get it from again? Like Petra's like snapping her fingers trying to remember the details.
I know he got it from another deep mantle, and the deep mantle got it from one of mine, which was the bright kilns, and the bright kilns got it in a bet with the who did they get it in a bet with? It was something.
Wasn't it a tune?
Yeah, I think it was a tune. Makes sense. I mean, they have strange bets. It's
They do.
I love it.
They
This
really do.
Yeah. On the plus side, it's all going well, and hey, it is a nice watch. Like that is beautiful craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm. The metalwork is exquisite.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll double back in a tick, and or at the next cave. I think I think there's another cave coming up. I mean, the darkness goes, darker up ahead, so that usually is indicative of something, and then it widens out. Torches should do good for it.
Mm-hmm. We should also make a note of any water sources we find down here. Stuff that's safe to drink in case, we run short on supply.
Indeed, indeed. We're doing decently on that one. It's thankfully Burger holding for the win. And she does just very quietly just hold one up from her side and just give it a
Mhm,
shake before attaching it back on her hip.
mhm.
Right. I don't want to jinx it, but I think there's gonna be something decent ahead.
I don't know. Hopefully. At least
Mm-hmm.
something to break up the monotony.
Yeah. Because if we have to hear one more I spy, or heaven, like I love drinking songs. Don't get me wrong. A drinking song that starts at 101 and works its way down, I might commit a
That's
small mutiny. I might.
that's got to be some form of torture. You know it has to be.
Tell you what, when we get back to everyone else, we'll bring it up as a thing, see if it's in any conventions that we can't do. Until then, and from back a little bit, Miles kind of perked up, and you can see it, like the look in her eyes from the slight echo of your conversation. Of oh, oh, she wants to sing now. That sounds like a brilliant idea.
Oh, great.
And as she starts going, oh, just Breccia is just power walking. Nope,
Yeah, no.
nope. All right, we got a scout. We got a scout. Let's go. Let's go. And
Petra just lets out like a loud, kind of dwarf laugh. The as she follows behind, her armor kind of clanking.
Mhm. God,
Petra's not quiet. Petra's not quiet in the slightest.
Petra isn't. Gabbro with his scale mail isn't. Rangers are. Oh, should be, seeing as she doesn't have any armor at the same time. Miles her own problem. Miles her own problem.
Mhm.
But as you get to this cave entrance, hmm,
Can I roll just a general survival check?
indeed, I'd say that's a good idea.
Because my idea is Petra is noting anything like in the general area, if there's anything to notice. Basically, just whatever she can keep track of, she is.
Good plan. Good plan.
Mm-hmm. 7. Boop. 18.
18. Nice. Nice.
Wisdom caster.
Woo-hoo! We love to see it. We love to see it. As you're coming through, you do notice like the rocks as you're going through, pretty rough, but maybe could be mined. Maybe could be mined at a later point, or at least chiseled into to create markers. How well that would work, given how the uncanny shifts, you're not entirely sure.
Mhm,
It could potentially work. That's
mhm.
what you get on.
If
And
there are any markers, are they in a language she recognizes, or are they more iconographies?
I think there are more iconographies, that sort of
Hmm.
thing. Someone in the past tried to make things universal, or at least make markers so that someone could perhaps follow a path, but you don't know
Hmm.
whether the path still exists anymore, given.
Yeah. There's one that points to a wall.
Yeah. Yes, you know what? Yes, there's one of those where it branches off as though it's going to go somewhere, and then it is just smooth. Not
Hmm.
even trapped. Oh, this is a secret door. No, just smooth.
The smoothest stone you'd ever did see.
Smooth as a
Too
shark.
smooth. Smooth as a shark.
It does. Petra pointing it out does at least get Breccia to be making a note of it on things like, right?
Mhm.
It's bullshit. Okay. And then you do hit the cavern.
Ooh,
And I would like you to make a con save.
con save. Okay. That's a new one.
Hmm.
All right. Boop. Oh, 9, honey.
And you know what? That makes sense. Of you've you've been with Breccia and you've been looking back at the other three and that sort of stuff, and looking around this survival, this dedication to everything. And you take a moment, you're smiling with Breccia, and then you step into this cavern, and as you are about to look about, this stench hits you like a truck.
Ooh,
It's
ooh.
this, it is a stench that clings to the back of the throat, a stench of rot and ichor and so much else that feels stifled and poorly ventilated and left to sit. And it is a punch.
Hmm. Ooh, Petra like makes like a very audible gagging sound, like
Yeah,
and like has to cover her mouth.
yeah. And honestly, I'm rolling flat for it just because. But oh, Breccia doesn't take it much better either. That is hand
Mhm.
slapped to mouth, just slapped over the nose, breathing through the hand through the mouth, just trying to, not be sick.
Hmm. Yeah, no. Before the others can get there, Petra's gonna basically wave her hand to flag them as there's something. Hang on.
Hmm. And
But yeah.
Gabbro stops and does the hand signal to acknowledge, and
Hmm.
then just basically parks the two, actively puts a hand on Miles' shoulder, and Miles just looking between everyone like, what? What? Okay, we're just standing here, okay?
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, it
And
smells like death. Ugh.
it's one way of putting it.
Ugh. And like
Okay.
Petra has like a cape that's kind of over her armor. She lifts like a part that's around her neck to
Hmm.
cover her face
Hmm.
and very carefully ties it off with like a little clip behind herself so it stays put.
Hmm. Rekia does similar, taking a bandana that was around her arm, shaking it out, and then just tying it around.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. What the fresh have we got? And at this point, I'd like you to roll another perception.
Perception! Yippee!
I will give you advantage if needed because Breccia is giving the help action as she too looks around at what fresh hell this is.
Okay. I'm I'm guessing on what to do for an advantage roll. I will find out if I did it right. Nope.
What you
Hmm.
do is what you do at the end is type ADV.
ADV? Oh, okay.
Similar to if you're doing disadvantage, you write dis at the end.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna roll it for just again for now to have it for this one. Okay, so we're gonna take the 17
Yeah,
and not the
we're gonna take.
7.
We're definitely gonna take that. So what you see is at first it's actually kind of difficult to define because at first you think maybe it's because it's unfathomable, but no, it's because it's almost a massacre. But it's a
Ooh.
but it's a massacre that you only see when you start thinking about it. There are at first they look like as you come further in, because I'm presuming you walk in carefully, but do come
Hmm.
into the bit of the room so you can get that torchlight everywhere. But as you do, it's decently sized cavern with these large stalagmites and stalactites, and even ones that reach and so they're both.
Hmm.
And some of them are destroyed. Some of them are the stonework is shattered and sprawling everywhere.
Hmm.
But you can see ichor on the ground as well.
Hmm.
And that ichor seems to flow from some of these stalactites and stalagmites.
Hmm.
And then you happen to get close to one, and there are tendrils coming out of this stalactite, stalagmite.
Oh. Oh, wait. I think metagame. I think I know what this is. It's one of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
freaking things. It's the things that disguise themselves as stalagmites, but have
Yeah,
freaky tentacles. So it's just a
yeah,
massacre of these things.
yeah. And
Freaky.
there's not just one, but several of them. And the one that's there is it's huge. It's if this was a stalagmite or a stalactite, you would look at that and go, that is beautiful dedication of centuries in a cavern. So whatever this being was old and clearly
Hmm.
very awesome.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna give this
What?
to you without an investigation, but you'll be able to roll an investigation in a minute just because fun.
Hmm.
But this big one you come to is very clearly dead.
Hmm.
Whatever did it, those tentacles have been pulled. Not just pulled, but yanked and ripped and look as though they have been stretched, as though something held on and pulled and pulled. It was not a clean death. It was not quick. This was this was sure something.
Hmm. Petra, with her hand like still covering her both her mouth with the cape as well, is just kind of like looking over the the carnage of this and like looking down at this creature.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're lucky we didn't have to fight these things, but the concept killed him.
I, I don't know. I these what markings are these? Let's see if we can take a look at that because we're gonna want to avoid whatever did this. I mean, maybe it was a territory dispute, a hunger thing,
Hmm. Hmm. All right,
and
I'm looking.
Mhm.
Hmm. Can I actually argue for a medicine check to see what
Yes.
specifically killed these
You know
things?
what? You can absolutely argue that.
Yippee!
You've come decently.
Oh,
What you
11.
know?
She
What?
is trained in medical such and whatnot, but these are things she's never seen before, so she wouldn't
Mhm.
be as familiar with the anatomy, I feel.
Mhm. Mhm. It's so you're looking and you're trying on this one. It's difficult, especially because as you're looking at these limbs, whatever tore into them did it messily. So you can tell
Hmm.
maybe there were claws, maybe there were teeth, but there's no way to discern a bite mark because it's
It's so
so
messy.
mangled. It's mangled.
Hmm.
It's whatever did this was absolutely going for it. And you can't tell whether
Hmm.
it was might have been owlbear size, it might have been rust monster size, it might have been for all you know, it was something tiny that just kept going at it, but that doesn't make sense either.
Hmm.
It, it doesn't seem to match up with injuries that you know,
Hmm.
with injuries that have managed from people who've managed to make it back after facing something down here.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, at the very least, there's no clean cuts. Was it a weapon of any kind?
All right, so that crosses a few things off the list. We wouldn't have exactly wanted to go into someone's territory. At the same time,
At the very
and
least, it's not something that's a person. Can't think. More like an
yeah,
animal from
and
the looks of
animals
it.
and animals can be distracted. Animals can be swayed. You can trick an animal. Mm.
Hmm.
And here's a question for you, Petra. As you've had to come in decently the way through to get to this giant one, you've had to go past some stuff. The main front of the cave is obscured. I'll just say that. But
Hmm.
as you're here at this point, touch tendrils while you're investigating.
Hmm. I don't know about the tendrils.
Hmm?
I feel like the first thing Petra would have done, much to possibly Breccia's disgust, is as she was like investigating it for like its injuries and whatnot, she would have actually dipped her fingers in the ichor that's kind of on the ground and like pulled off her mask enough to take a closer smell at it.
There was a microsecond where she thought you were going to lick it. And that was very much visible in her expression. She's shifted into a more serious mode, but there was the, oh, concept, are you going to lick it?
She's medically trained. Eating blood is bad. It's a bad idea.
This is a ranger, and the rangers sometimes crunch on rocks or lick the dirt or that sort of stuff to get trails. So she was
Hmm.
looking at it going, it makes sense, but also no,
Hmm.
no. Oh, thank God you didn't lick it, you just sniffed.
Hmm.
So with the 11, I'm going to say you didn't get this specific bit.
Hmm.
Roll me another perception if you like.
Yee, all right.
And I'm also going to roll something for myself.
Hmm. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh
Oh boy. Nat 20.
boy. Nat 20. All right.
Petra clocked in.
All right, and that's a 17 on my thing, so that's great. So, Petra, a few things happen at once. It still seems pretty decently fine. It still seems this place is. You've managed to breathe through the hideous stench enough to be able to focus on things, enough to be able to focus on your medical work and everything around you. And Breccia does kneel down to one of the tendrils to like have her own look. And as she puts her hand down on it, hear the sound of scale mail behind you.
Hmm. Uh,
And
Petra kind of just immediately kind of looks over her shoulder to get a look at whatever she assumes it's Gabbro, but
there's Gabbro and there's Mal. No, the other two.
mhm,
And
hmm,
right next to you, there is just. I think because you've turned, you don't get all of it, but you do feel like there is a slight sound of leather as Rekia freezes slightly. Something that she's picked up on. You're mainly turned now towards Gabbro, and
mhm,
Gabbro's come. Gabbro almost looks slightly confused. Just slightly, just with that nat 20, you see just the look in his eyes. And Miles just looking between him and you guys and everything. And she's gagging a
mhm.
lot. Okay, she is having a moment.
Yeah, yeah. I think when she registers the other two, she's then going to redirect her attention to Brachia and basically put a steadying hand on Brachia's shoulder, maybe casting guidance to help her with any rolls she needs to make.
Yeah. Uh she's decently I want to say tan skin, sort of a similar complexion to you.
Mhm,
As you turn back to her to put the guidance on, she's gone a few shades paler as she's
okay.
looking down at this tendril that she is still has her hand on.
Hey, what is it? Are you okay?
It's still warm. It's cooling. It's a Petra. This is still warm.
Petra just immediately makes like a shushing motion, and then she very carefully looks behind herself again.
And there are the other two. There's Gabbro, who's now frozen slightly at seeing both of you go up in just both of you freeze, both of you go this stock still.
Mm-hmm. Petra is going to, I'm going to say in like a sign language version of Dwarvish.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to sign, "Where's Slate?"
And Gabbro, because I'm still going to roll off that nat 20, there is a look in his eyes of something being very wrong, but only just realizing that fully as he signs back, "You called for her. You called for her, so she came your way. That's why we followed."
Petra shakes her head, and then she's very carefully looking at the others, and she's going to keep signing, "I think there's something in here with us." And then once she finishes signing, she's going to very carefully cast Detect Evil and Good, which I will screenshot what it is for you real quick.
Oh, Petra, honey. All right.
Detect Evil and Good. For the duration, you know if there is an abjuration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, you know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Oh, Petra, honey. You're standing in this place and you cast that. And you begin to look as your awareness spreads further and wider until you're looking at this whole cabin, or at least a decent bit around yourself. This 30 foot, and you get a ping. And then you get another ping. And then another. And another.
Mm-hmm.
And another. And there are more and more blips of this undead coming just slightly in and out of your awareness. Not fully there, but at the edges, just out of your sight. And they do seem to be around you.
Okay, cool. Cool.
And I will also
Fear!
say that Gabbro had come slightly towards you. And of course,
Mhm.
Breccia around next to you. I was about 30 feet from you. And so you get a very good awareness of Mal looking at you. And she is terrified. So, from what you've said, she doesn't know where Slate is. She doesn't know what's going on.
In
And
Dwarvish, Petra's immediately gonna be like, "Marl, get closer, now.
okay. And,
Group up."
and right as that happens, something moves into the range of the torchlight. And, well, the torchlight and your detect. And there is a very large black blur. And Mal screams.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. That's terrifying.
It's you did not see that coming. You have the torchlight, you have everything up. The only thing that made you able to detect that was straight up that you could feel something there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to roll to, oh Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
So I rolled a for whatever the fresh hell this thing is a tackle, and
Oh! Yikes!
that was a nat 20. So Mal was there.
Oh!
Mal was there.
Oh!
This
Okay.
thing slams into her, and she starts going into the dark.
Shoot. Okay. Okay, Petra is gonna have two first things immediately upon reaction. Petra, first things first, shouts, "Lose the light! We have dark vision!" Just
Immediate
in
stomp on that.
yeah, lose the light. Hopefully that'll give them some sort of advantage. Hopefully. Second thing, she's going to fire she's gonna fire guiding bolt at whatever was in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I do have a question. From her detect evil and good, what specifically was she pinging? Like
You
elemental, fae, fiend.
undead. Evil undead is the best thing you'd get from this.
Mm-hmm.
Evil
Evil
undead,
undead.
evil undead, and also the best equivalent is really fucky wucky.
Yeah,
Some,
yeah.
some of these things are literally glitching in and out of your awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It is the heaviest distortion. Some of these are downright painful pings.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
This is picked up. Okay, so yeah. For guiding bolt, Petra has to make a ranged spell attack, which I will be doing now. All right. Boop. Ooh, that's a 20 to hit.
Honey, all right. That does great. That does brilliant. Oh,
But does it hit?
yes, yes,
Awesome.
it does. It hits.
All right.
So you're literally tracking where Marl's scream is going because she's still screaming.
Mm-hmm.
She is still screaming this high-pitched, terrifying noise that is echoing. And you fire that guiding bolt, and it hits whatever this is.
Mm-hmm. Here is the damage for you. 10 radiant damage.
All right.
Which,
Nice.
if it's an
Oh, wait.
undead, that should be doing double.
Yeah,
I
straight
think.
up, it's doing double. It's doing double.
Mhm.
You're doing amazing, Petra, sweetie.
Oh boy.
What does her guiding bolt look like? Like, what's the flavoring of it?
hmm for a lot of Petra's magic, actually, it has the appearance of kind of like a collection of energy, and then when she releases it, it kind of looks like a blast of white light that's animated with a white pencil,
Ooh,
which is
fascinating.
especially striking in an environment as dark as this.
Yeah, it is a complete juxtaposition to what it hits.
hmm
I'm gonna say, as it hits, it outlines this creature just for a moment as it ripples across it and around it. And
hmm
Petra, what the fresh hell is that?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's something that's around, you'd want to say the size of an owl bear.
hmm
No, it's lupine, wolfish. The jaw is hanging at a very odd angle, and there is smoke coming off it. This red glow to the eyes as it turns slightly towards you. And you can see not quite drool, but this liquid coming from its mouth. You might be ink with the way the lighting is hitting it.
Yeah.
Might be lifeblood, might be something. But this hit makes it stagger slightly, and so with the last of the light,
hmm
you do see Marl live, claw mark gouged into her chest. You are realizing maybe the squishy should have worn armor, but it's too
Yeah.
late. It's too late to think about that now. But she is
hmm
desperately traveling towards you guys, and Gabbro is basically pelting towards her as well. His shield, he's a fighter, his shield raised.
hmm hmm Okay. Real quick, I do want to note that for guiding bolt, uh, the thing the cool thing about Guiding Bolt is that the next attack roll made against the target has advantage in order to hit it.
Oh,
Yeah. And
brilliant.
because what Guiding Bolt does is that it hits something and it makes them glow, which flavored for Petra's spell is that it's literally outlined in like white pencil, kind
Oh,
of
I
just
love
the
that.
outline.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So pretty much everyone in the cavern can now see the shape of this thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Thing.
Uh-huh.
If that's one of the things, like, literally, there is just Brecca going, how many of those are there?
How many
How did that?
pings? How many pings did she get in the
Oh, honey, lots. The best way to describe it is Petra, as you're looking around this massacre of a place and realizing how many of these ropers have been destroyed and how many pings you're getting, you get the idea that there is a pack.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't quite tell, but you know the answer is a lot.
Mm-hmm. More than we can fight, we need to go now.
Right, let's go.
She says
See,
that loud enough for Gabbro to hear, but whether or not he follows, that's up to him.
yeah, Abro is mainly focusing on holy fuck. That's one of the ones we were trying to protect. Immediate,
Yeah.
get the kid. Like he's prioritizing you all. You are kids. You are kids in his
Mm-hmm.
eyes. He's old as balls.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls out this warhammer from his back and he swings it, and I'm going to roll. On the dice alone, that is going to hit that one. Right? So he slams his hammer into the jaw of whatever wolf-like thing this is and drives it a bit further back, grabs Marl by the scruff, and is hauling ass with you.
Mm-hmm. Just grab Marl, run.
Yeah. Rekia is scrambling up from where she was. You are all pelting back the way you came.
Mm-hmm.
It's you gotta go through them a little bit because they want
Mm-hmm.
you. They want you. They
Yep.
want to say hi. They want you to be their guest.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. What's your armor class?
My armor class is pretty decent. It's 20.
Cool. Hits. Yeah.
That
Hits.
don't hit.
No, this is gonna hit. This is gonna hit.
Oh no, wait. Oh, I thought it was the 16. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
This is a 18 plus 6.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna hit.
Yeah, that was the wrong thing I typed in, but that is also another one because there are several.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. So I'm gonna roll your damage first, and then I'm gonna.
Oh, actually, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Because if
Oh.
she has her armor and then the shield. No, yeah, no, it is 20. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna
I double
roll.
checked.
Right. I need my d8s. I love getting to use this stat block again.
Yippee!
Woo! I didn't get to use this enough back when I did it. All right. Petra, you take. Oof. It's a decent hit. It's as you take 18 points of piercing damage.
Dang!
As something, one of them comes at you, and it tries to get you in the back. It's you almost want to say it's actively going for your armor because you hear the shriek of metal for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You are slightly thrown forward, but how you doing? How are you doing?
Ah! She's still up. She's still
Yeah,
up. She's still good.
still up. She's still up.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
I'm
see
not
if she
using.
has a reactionary spell real quick that she
So
has prepared.
I am going to put that dice on one side after this. It's doing what I wanted. At the same time, Oh, honey. Because apparently the dice specifically hate Marl today.
Mm-hmm.
That was another nat 20.
Dang!
So,
Marl
uh,
is not gonna make it.
uh, it's. I'll let you speak as you're speaking. There is going to be consequences to that in a minute. I'm also
Mm-hmm.
going to wreck you. Okay, you're all getting hit. Well, this is spicing things up. This is
Mm-hmm.
spicing things up. As that was a 17 plus 6 for Mal.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not for Mal. That was for against Brechia. So, Petra, you've got the delightful thing of you getting hit and then hearing your friends scream.
Ugh. Hey, she has
Mm-hmm.
dark vision, which means she probably also sees it.
Yep. And here's the thing on that front of you came down here and you know sometimes when things are too dark and so your
Mm-hmm.
brain suddenly imposes an image, that sort of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
the trick when you stand in a too dark cave and you can see your hand move, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like that. Because you know the shape. You know the shape now. You've seen one of them. You can't fully see it until suddenly they are striking, and then you see them as these hulking masses. And they do look so lupine, but not. There is something distinctly wrong about them. Perhaps,
Ooh.
perhaps there's, in fact, make if you had a reaction thing, I'd do it now.
I unfortunately she doesn't it doesn't look like she
Uh,
does have.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to describe this, and this is going to hurt. If
Yep.
you look back and you see Brechia get hit, and she manages to just about, handle the scream. She's used to pain, she's used to combat. And then you see something strike out at Gabbro and Marl, and he is still holding on to Marl. He has got her by the scruff and he is running with her. And then this other thing hits them, and the force of it is enough to rip her from his grip. You even hear the tear of her cloak as this bats her into the dark. And you do see her. You see her for this one crystal perfect moment. It's grayscale because everything is in dark vision. You see her terrified expression as she is looking back at you. And then you can't see her. As though something is blocking the way, as though several things are blocking the way, and you can still hear her scream until you can't.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, running. She's running.
Mm-hmm. You're all running. You're all running. There is a split microsecond where Gabbro stops as though he could possibly go back. But then he has to prioritize you both.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps running, still holding
Mm-hmm.
that bit of the loops an arm with Brechia as she turns, and then you are all hauling ass out of there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Roll me.
As
Sorry, you go.
as they're running,
Mhm.
Petra is gonna have basically one hand is on her Warhammer, which is now out, OUT out.
Yep. Yep.
And another hand is holding on to her holy symbol, which is attached to her cape within reach. And she is just mumbling under her breath, concept protect us, concept heal us, guide us through these darkened caverns. And she's going to use channel divinity.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to do preserve life, which I will. Actually, wait, no, she's not. I forgot about that one. No, I'll do the other one because that one is most fitting because they're still probably close enough to activate this effect.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to do turn undead.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going.
Undead within 30 feet must make a DC 15 wisdom save or be turned for 1 minute or until damaged. Which I will also look up real quickly what being turned means.
I think it means akin to frightened, where you can't advance.
Yeah, let me look.
Gives you guys breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank God, the little ones got a 3 on the dice.
Yippee!
The little ones. So that's gonna be at best. Yeah, that's not gonna make it. They have not got anything that's high enough to hit.
Mm-hmm. A turn creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move in a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. So at least all the little things won't be able to chase them. And in fact, are going to be actively running away.
Yeah, it's you hear it at first as you're gunning it, as you're getting into like the start of the rest of the system that you came into the cavern, you're now gunning it back through the main tunnel, and you hear something scrabbling behind you, the sound of claws in stone, and then you do that, and you hear a cacophony of whining shrieks as they stop and claw at each other and try and go in the opposite direction.
Oh, thank heavens.
Yeah. You can hear Breccia full on, just under her breath, very breathless, just repeating your prayers because you've basically just saved them, the ones that are alive. Oh God, oh concept, oh that happened. That happened. That,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? That happened. Okay, that happened. Concept guide us.
Keep running, keep running. Don't look back, don't look back. We can't look back. If we stop moving, we die.
Mm. And it's something that Gabbro mirrors. The sound of his scale mail is echoing through this, the sound of your armor. The only one of you who is silent moving is the ranger at your side,
Mm-hmm.
as you three just gun it together.
Mm-hmm.
And roll me roll me survival. I want to see how far you guys get before the next
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Okay. Survival. Fun.
Mm,
10.
and
Ooh.
okay, it's
Great. It makes
you're right.
sense.
You're rattled. You've, you've lost two of your people. One of them was just a little older than you. And she was
Mm-hmm.
silly and ridiculous and sang songs and did all these things around you, and you just watched that happen. So yeah, you're a bit rattled. How's Petra taking it right now? Describe to me what Petra's doing with that 10 roll. Just how are things going for her?
She's moving both to survive and both to not think.
Mm-hmm.
If she thinks, she's going to think about it and she might start thinking about it too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you're going, and you're going, and you're carrying along. It's tiring, honestly, given what you just went through. Even sooner than you feel you should, you can start feeling that burn in your lungs, that ache in your legs of just what you survived, just what you're dealing with. The adrenaline of it all is you've just been through something that you shouldn't have ever had to go through. And you don't even know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
You get to another cavern, one of the ones you come through earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Say the one with no echo. Just you come back to it, and you three have to stop for a minute. Gabbro even just reaches out and clasps a hand on your shoulder to slow you down a bit because you need
Hmm.
with some sort of plan because
Hmm.
he
What
just
Petra
looks at you.
does,
Mhm,
yeah, Petra basically is just going to grab the both of them
mhm,
and duck behind something, a hiding spot, any hiding spot, any sort of something that they can stay behind and stay safe for at
mhm.
least a moment.
Yep, yep. And they go willingly. It's
Hmm.
you three just hunkered down
Hmm.
and
And then she's
Mhm,
going to cast silence in the entrance of where they just came from,
mhm,
so that anything that's coming from that way won't be able to hear anything that they say.
mhm.
It's the cleverest move she's got at the moment.
Yep, yep. And it's one of those moments where you're catching your breath and trying not to let it hit. And it kinda is hitting because it can't not with what you just saw and what just happened. Um,
I'm gonna make a
mhm,
wisdom saving throw for Petra.
yeah. I shall also be making it for Breccia and Gabbro, which, hey, I got less characters to worry about now.
Yay! Wisdom save. Oh, 12. That makes sense.
Yeah. Fun
Petra's
fact.
been trained for this.
Mhm,
She's never been in battle before.
mhm. Fun fact. Breccia only did slightly better. Gabbro,
Great.
Gabbro's keeping it together. You can't tell whether that's him actually fully being together or whether he is just so good at compartmentalizing. I mean, this is a very old dwarf, and he has seen
Mhm,
combat. And this guy never reacts to anything, basically.
mhm,
The way you saw him react earlier was probably the most you have ever seen him react before.
mhm.
All right. And Gabbro just deep breath and then goes, all right. How badly are you hurt? Both of you.
I, I, like Petra, like at those words, like kind of recognizes that, oh, I am injured. Kind of forgot about that in the heat of the moment
Mm-hmm.
and kind of instinctively, she actually first she goes to Breccia,
Mm-hmm.
and she holds out a hand and she's gonna cast Cure Wounds first level.
Mm-hmm. All right. Nice.
Let me cast that real quick and mark it on my sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Do me a,
and
do me a
it's gonna
favor.
be
Do me a favor afterwards and roll medicine.
E. Okay, hold on. She also has a feature for being a life cleric that I have to
Ooh.
remember what it is. Channel Divinity, destroy. First level or greater healer spells increase healing by 2 plus the spell's level. So she does extra healies.
Ooh. Very nice.
Yeah,
Love
she's
it.
very good at healing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be, oh gosh, where's Cure Wounds? There's Cure Wounds.
Yes, you
There it
would.
is.
Yes.
Plus the modifier. That's 3. And then boop, that is 13 healies for Breccia. And
Yay!
another feature she has is Blessed Healer. When you cast spells that heal a creature other than you regain 2 plus the spell's level of HP. So Petra also heals 3.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
We love to see it. We love to see it.
Yeah. And then
Right.
she looks at Gabbro, just kind of with the silent question of, "Are you hurt?"
Mm. Roll me medicine.
Medicine. 24.
24. Nice. So, with a 24, you can tell Breccia is decently healed. And so she's smiling at you in relief. And then you turn to Gabbro. And he is, as always, calm, stoic expression, just looking at you both. He's got one of his arms clutched around his side in a way that looks casual. His armor is dented on that side.
Is his arm broken? Ooh.
It's the arm that was holding on to Mal.
Mm.
The armor that is there, the plating of it, is dented into it.
That's gonna be a nasty. Ugh.
Thankfully, it was the shield arm.
If you can, here, come here. And Petra once again, will grab Gabbro, and she's gonna do cure wounds again at level 1 because right now she's saving her higher level spell slots for if those things catch up, they need to do damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healing's important, but also they need to get out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, first level healing. Boop. That is her last first level healing spell slot. Yippee!
Joy, oh joy.
Then Gabbro also heals 13, and Petra
Nice.
heals 3 more.
Nice.
Which again, for flavor, her magic kind of looks like a white pencil has been like trying to think how to flavor this. I imagine like how it works is the energy coalesces in the palm of her hand and she rests it on the wound. And then unseen is maybe the white pencil and maybe perhaps a bit of an eraser, just like fixing the wound, like drawing over it to what it should be instead of what it is, kind of thing.
It's to give you better access. Gabbro even like takes the armor and rips off the part that is dented in. As you it just normally you shouldn't, take off the thing that's holding the support, but when you got magic, let the magic do it properly, because improper healing would be even worse right now.
Yeah.
And the faintest edges of his eyes that you can see do smooth out slightly. Just the wrinkle lines and the stress, just pain goes away a bit. He smiles at you and goes, okay. Thank you, miracle worker. Right.
As he's talking, Petra is just going to be absently casting mending on the armor that he's taken off just to do something while also listening. Just keep her hands busy. If she keeps her hands busy, she won't have to think about it.
And he full on now, he's got both arms free. Both arms free. He still has the hand clutching that cloak. And he stares for a moment and then ties it around his wrist. And then he's putting a hand on either of your shoulders and going, okay. He made it out. Right? We're still here. Right?
We made it out so far. We can't guarantee that we're out yet.
No, I know. We will. We're going to need to come up with a strategy to get out of here. Those things are fast. They are not.
Need to be quiet, but I
It's a few days back to the others. And this can't be allowed to follow us.
I have sending. I can warn the others. They can close off the tunnel, but we want to see if we can find an alternate way out of here first.
Indeed. Indeed. We need to be smarter. We need to buy time. We're gonna go further back the way we came. We're gonna try, listen out. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna do what we can for as long as we can. If anything further happens, I want you both to carry on going. Okay? Do not look back. Carry on going, okay?
But we need to all get out.
So it's okay. It's okay. Look at me. Look at me. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Okay. Okay.
Here. Yeah. Ranger, you can't get lost except by magical means, that sort of thing, right? Yeah. And I've got training in the valley. Sorry. Take your time. I can get us back. I can get us back. I know the way. I know the way. It will change, but I know the way. We've been keeping our map. Hey, haven't we? Oh, concept.
Sir,
And Gabbro turns to you immediately.
I may have had a dumb idea. And Petra is going to be using her hammer space, which she doesn't use often, but she's using it now. She's rolled a 5.
Hey! Not a fumble.
Petra is pulling out from her hammer space kind of like a mining explosive charge, one that's kind of set on a delay.
There is a brief moment of Gabbro's expression does not change at all. It's the slight pregnant pause as that comes out. And then
Let me finish it. What if we put this down an alternate tunnel where we aren't traveling? We set it to go off and we book it for where we're actually going.
Okay. That could work. That could work. A distraction is useful. It could cause destabilization, but the way these caves are structured, that could. Petra, you're a genius. And he does, like, it's the camaraderie, hold the back of your head, and he presses his forehead to yours just for a second, just genius. You are a. And there is even a small smile on his face. There was, and he pulls out the map that he's got that you've been tweaking as you went along. Puts it down in front, like between you three. You're in basically a triangle, ducked down here, and he just goes, "Okay." There was, back the way we came, there was a fork. We didn't go down part of it, but we could put it there. That might be able to work on that front.
Right.
We'd have to be far.
Right.
But it should be feasible, and it will buy us some time, all right?
Right.
This is going to work. This is going to work, okay? Right. And here's a question for you. How long does silence last?
Silence only lasts, unfortunately, a minute. It's definitely been longer since then, but they
Right.
with the silence gone, they probably can definitely hear if something's coming
Mhm.
the moment it's dropped.
Yeah.
Because that's the disadvantage to silence. They can't hear them. They can't hear them in reverse
Yeah.
through that.
So, roll me perception, if you will.
Perception! Yay! 16.
Right.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Because
Uh-oh.
you hear there is no echo within this chamber, but there is an echo that comes through the cavern system that you were just in, bouncing off the walls and warping. And it's the sound of two voices that mangled and warped. And you just hear, "Help me, please. Concept, help me."
Ooh. Petra just kind of like stiffens and almost lurches up just out of instinct before she stops herself.
And you lurch up, and Gabbro immediately like grabs you by the shoulder plate. So there is a slight clang as he just goes, "It's not them. It's not them. That's not them anymore.
Right.
Right. Gotta go. We
That's
gotta go now. We gotta go." And he is
gotta go. Gotta
lifting
go.
you both. He's lifting you both up by the arms and shoving
Mm-hmm.
you in front of him, and you're going.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Running, running, using full movement, full everything, just running.
Yeah. And you hear behind you, just as you're going, you start hearing just slightly the scrape of stone and those voices mangling further and further. And then you hear a howl that cuts through everything else. And you're going through the next tunnel!
Yeah! Running!
Running! Running for your lives! Running for your lives! Dear fucking God, you're running for your lives!
Yep. Running.
Running, running.
So much running.
Roll me another survival as a treat.
Yay! Survival! Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, 11. You know,
11. Mhm.
honestly, most of the leading the charge is probably the ranger. Petra's just following.
Yeah, it's
Honestly, with an 11, she probably nearly stumbles a couple times.
yeah. Thank God Breccia's doing good. It's you can tell.
Mhm.
Silent footsteps. She's going ahead of you, and she's running. She is pelting it, but she's making sure that you guys can see her. It's
Mhm.
like it's you guys have got dark vision, but she's still making sure to do small gestures to try and encourage you not to trip over certain things, not to do certain things. In fact, you're still injured slightly, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no. Petra healed the others. She never officially healed herself, even if she got a little bit healed from healing them.
Yeah. So you do have Gabbro starting to pull ahead of you, and then he looks at you, and then he actually slightly holds back, so he's behind you. And he is putting a hand on your back to steady you, and he is pushing you forward. It's making sure that you get out of this.
Mhm.
And
Man.
and you're running, and you're running, you're doing your best. And I'm gonna roll survival for another entity here. Okay.
I'm gonna laugh if it was a nat one.
It's I've rolled it for two. You know what? I'm rolling it for two separate beings because fuck that. The little things. You got a one.
The little things are having a bad day.
The little things are having a bad day. The little things are going to have a worse day later on when
Oh
they
yeah.
And the thing goes, how did you let this happen? Several of you are going to disintegrate.
Ooh, yeah.
And the thing was 16.
Oh, great. Okay. Cool.
With Breccia's 17, you're keeping ahead. And you know you're ahead. And you know you're running. You are running and you are running and you are every now and then looking behind you and you can't see anything yet and you can't hear anything yet. So maybe, just maybe. Tell me insight.
Insight. Okay. Oh, 11. Dang it.
You
Petra's too rattled.
yeah. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. Yeah, bro, you're not gonna get. Oof. Breccia, you do. You
Ooh.
Gabbro's behind you, so it makes sense that you can't get him.
Mhm.
Breccia is in front of you, and she is glancing back a few times. And at first, it is, making sure she knows where you are, making sure that we're all following, making sure it's going. But you see her looking down at the map that she has on her wrist, and you can see she does this little gesture sometimes. And as you've been going along, where she counts steps, where she counts kilometers, where she counts how long something should take.
Mhm.
And she seems to be glancing back at what you guys heard before. You can't see anything back there, but you can see the look in her eyes of just, you might not make it to the fork.
Mhm.
And that scares her more than anything. And Petra, you do feel something of, you feel two things. One is you feel mending being cast on your armor from behind. And then you also feel Gabbro's hand coming down on your shoulder, still running, still pushing, still keeping you going. And you feel a bit of fabric being pushed into your hand.
Mhm.
Do you look down?
Yes. Yes.
It's that bit of cloak with a very familiar decal print on it. It used to be Miles, that Gabbro tied around his wrist a minute ago. And now he's given it to you.
Oh no. Oh, Petra can feel what he's about to do. Uh,
Keep going. Don't look back. Get to safety. Concept guide you both.
yes, sir. May the concept protect you, however it can.
And you. And you feel his hand leave your shoulder. And Tia turns around and she can't hide it. She is crying. And she tries to look back for as long as she can, but she has to look forward because if she slips, we're both not going to make it out. And
Mhm.
as you're going further and further away, the sound of scale mail stops. And you hear the sound of it turning, the drawing of a hammer, the pulling out of a shield. And then you hear the sound of a hammer hitting against the shield repeatedly, like a goading. And it sounds part like a funeral march, part like a commander rallying troops, part of everything else. Perhaps it feels a little brave. Perhaps it feels desperate. Either way, you leave a bro deep mantle behind.
Man. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is tasty stuff, but also, man.
Yes! I'm loving it.
Petra is basically still moving and making sure Breccia is still moving.
Kia is with you. And she's older than you, and she's seen combat at the same time. You know that Gabbro and Breccia have known each other for a decent while. I mean, everyone does in your home. You know a lot of people that they knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
And as you carry on, you keep going. And you keep running. You keep going, and you might actually make it to that fork now.
Mm-hmm. Once they get close enough to it,
Mm-hmm.
Petra is gonna kind of try to guide Breccia to another hiding spot.
Mm-hmm. And she does falter slightly. She even trips over something for a moment, which is very uncharacteristic for her. But she goes,
Petra's here to catch her.
and she does cling to you slightly, and then she just goes, we've got to keep going. We have to keep going. Petra,
No. Listen to me. You're going to keep going, okay? Okay?
No.
I have an idea. I have a spell that can protect you in a wall for 8 hours. You
I don't.
know this place better than the both of us. You know how to get back to the others. You need to get back to the. This is important.
Petra,
Look
no.
at me.
Petra, if I leave you, you're gonna be here alone. You don't know how to do this.
Look at me. Look at me. You are the only one who knows how to get back safely, quietly. You need to make it back there. You need to warn the others, and you need to block off this tunnel. Make sure that no other part of our clan can ever come to this desecrated ground again.
We can make it together. You've got the plan. You've got the explosive. We can make it back together.
No. It's too risky. If those things come back with us, everyone else might meet the same fate as the others did. We can't risk that.
And she is openly staring at you, and you don't even have to roll insight. She is heartbroken. She is listening to you, she is hearing you, and it makes sense. But on God's, does she want to defy it? But she knows she can't. And she is leaving another child down here. She doesn't want to leave you.
I know. But concept guide me. I will try to find another way out of here. I don't know how long I'll last, but
You listen to me. You come back to us, okay? You do everything within your power. You are part Toon, and you and in and of yourself, you are a miracle worker, Petra. And those sides of you, they are boons, okay? You do everything you can. You defy everything you can, and you come back to us, okay?
I promise.
And she
And as she says that she promises, she's gonna take Breckia's hand and she's gonna pass that same part of the cloak to her.
Mm-hmm. And she takes it in hand. And then she wraps it around her wrist. And then she reaches forward just like Gabbro did a short while ago to you. And she grabs the back of your head and then she bumps her head into yours and just goes, "Concept guide you. We'll see each other again."
Concept guide you. Okay.
Love you, kid.
You won't be able to see anything while you're in there. Just keep listening. Don't come out until you know that they've passed and that they've doubled back, okay?
I am hella good at a waiting game.
Right.
And
And then
Mhm.
Petra is basically gonna make sure that Breccia has been moved against a wall that's kind of out of view from most of the entrances.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to cast Meld into Stone on her.
Mm-hmm. And as it happens, as she goes into this stone wall, Petra, her eyes don't leave yours. As she is looking at you with all the determination and all the care and everything else that she can, as she's clinging to her wrist and clinging to this promise that perhaps you'll see each other again. And then Rekia Bright Kiln is gone into the stonework.
Petra spends a moment, just a moment, with her forearm kind of resting against the wall and her forehead kind of touching it before she straightens up and gets a look at her surroundings.
Mm-hmm. They're a lot more
She,
daunting now. They're a lot more daunting now you're alone.
okay. Petra is going to keep going down the way they were going.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, when they hit a fork, which leads into more tunnel instead of a dead end, she's going to go down the way that doesn't lead back home.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to make sure she's loud. She's going to make sure she's noisy.
Mm-hmm. And these guys have advantage on that sort of thing. In fact, you know what? We're gonna, we're gonna go both just because it'll be fun later on. Oh yeah, they pick up on that. It's from the very, very distance. Almost as though you think it should be perhaps too far. You then hear that howl again. And that howl rising into a crescendo with other howls within it, warping and bouncing and echoing. It does seem as though it's very far back though. Abro was very good at bottlenecks. Yeah, they're coming. They are
Mm-hmm.
going to come.
Mm-hmm.
How are
Okay.
you doing, Petra?
She's still going on the mindset of keep moving, don't think about it. Keep
Mm-hmm.
moving, don't think about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As you're going further and further this way. And stonework does change. It's mind-boggling, it's unfathomable, which you will not fathom and do not want to as you keep going and keep going deeper and further from home. Even if you were going back in the same direction, you know that you're going further from home. But you had your plans. And here's where I talk to you, Obby, of as Petra's going deeper and further, what point are we going to put the other point of set law in place?
Hmm. It's probably a couple of hours
Mm-hmm.
of just moving when she can, resting in the brief moments that she has, continuing to move when they're when they get close again. She's listening, she's keeping ahead, she's making sure to be noisy. In fact, on one occasion, she probably even went with that explosives plan, just kind of lit it and tossed it down a random hall at a random tunnel, and then just took off down a different way.
Nice. So there was that boom, crack, explosion, and that probably bought you a bit more time. But in these hours, there certainly have been almost phantom images where you're pretty sure they haven't caught up. You're pretty sure, but then you see a wolf-like shadow or something with burning red eyes just in the background, just close enough, just a whisper of a voice or a faintest of howl, and you're off again. It's
Mhm.
it's exhausting. You are being toyed with.
I think eventually Petra, when she gets into a new cavern, kind of slows down.
Mm-hmm.
She has the horrible realization that they're waiting for her to tire out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Petra, from what you know of these beings, you saw the ropers earlier. You've seen what they do. They're not quick killers. But you have your hammer, and you have what's left of your cleric skills, and you are here, and these hours, you think they've done good. Perhaps, just perhaps, you have tried your best, and maybe it's enough.
Regardless, Petra, once she's in this new cavern,
Mm-hmm.
uh, basically gonna roll just perception in general.
Mm-hmm.
10 in total.
Oof.
It's a cavern. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. It's a cavern, it doesn't matter.
It's a
Don't think about it.
it's as good a final stand as any other place in these damned caverns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's basically preparing herself. She's casting protection from evil and good on herself, with specifically undead being her method of,
Mm-hmm.
protection. She's casting basically anything that she can prepare. She's got her spiritual weapon at the ready, just waiting at the entrance.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, basically. It's just a giant white pencil hammer.
In any other situation, it would be hilarious.
And as she stands there in the
Mm-hmm.
center of the cavern, waiting for her inevitable doom,
Mm-hmm.
something else
Mm-hmm.
is in the room with her. It's not the things that have been chasing her, it's something that she missed, something that she didn't see.
Mm-hmm. And hey, you were expecting one enemy. Not this one.
In the moment, there is the sound of claws and a deep breath behind her, and as she turns in surprise, alarm, swings her hammer blindly, raises it up again to do another attack. She makes eye contact with the thing that would spell her imprisonment, petrification.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, she's frozen in time.
Indeed. And just like that, Petra is petrified. And I think we cut from this place and we cut around to another being who is here. As through these caverns, through this pursuit, they catch up at last from where they'd been hanging back. And into this cavern space, these little things come in. And then a larger being comes in, towering over everything. And I actually drew, I drew Ask the Thing again, because I got to give the thing a glow up.
Oh, glow up.
I drew it years ago, and now I get to draw it again, and I went, I'm gonna.
Yeah!
And I'm gonna spoiler it for Scopo because on God's editor. But yeah, I'll be taking
Ooh! Dang! Ooh! Oh, fear!
that.
Beast!
Yeah, that is the last thing several of your close ones saw. But you don't,
Ugh.
because this is the thing, the Emperor of Terror and Nightmares and Shadows, 16 foot tall in all their glory, comes in here and doesn't find the terrified half-dwarf that they'd been looking for. This being of ink and real and fear that they had wanted. This cleric that they had wanted to personally tear apart. Instead, they find a statue, don't they?
One of many,
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly. It is a cavern in the midst of all these caverns, which seems to be filled with more life than most. There is a small pool in one corner of the room where there is perhaps a couple sea critters kind of flittering or crawling about. There is moss and other plant life kind of growing along its edges. And nestled, like speckled across the room, are a few statues of other folks who had met Petra's same fate. Folks who Petra failed to notice in her brief glance about the room.
Mm-hmm.
There's another exit to the same cavern, which through the things and the thing itself might be able to notice that it was a place of the nest of a large creature, which seems to be absent for the moment.
And the thing takes all of this in. And then shifts. And from this large form, they shift down into the form of a toon. Flowing robes, red mane of hair, and everything therein. And they walk up to the statue that is Petra. Go, what a marvelous end. Disappointing, but still marvelous all the same. And they hold out a very large compared to Petra hand, because this being is like almost 8 foot tall. And they reach that hand out as though not quite to touch, but as though at any second they could just grab the face and push, because Petra's position is pretty unstable. But there's no trace of fear, there's no terror exuding from them anymore. It's blank, and that's not fun. So they look at this form, and they look at the forms behind them, including, well, some new forms that have joined the ranks, including one with warped armor. Still adapting to the new form. We'll see how that little thing turns out, but they focus back on Petra and just go. They look Petra over and just. They think they could possibly have some fun with this still. After all, they are very, very talented when they want to be. And there are a few cracks, a few grooves of the stonework that Petra has, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are going to very calmly and very methodically trace their claws across those marks and just exude a little bit of iron gall into each of them. And just slowly, methodically, scratch some nice marks into every part they can reach. And I think that's probably a good place for us to leave off and zoom out with this methodical carving that only these few will know. And, well, one being, but she hasn't been born yet. This scene in the valley, certainly something.
Man. Man! You went out of the park for this! This is awesome, but also, man!
Yeah! I made plans and I had bullet points.
Your bullet points are so good.
Thank you, everyone. Now you know why we had the trigger warnings. On the plus side, not all of the trigger warnings got hit. Hooray!
Yay!
Did you all have
Still-
a nice fun time with these new party? They were brilliant.
Yeah! There's maybe only one left.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know. We just don't know.
Brachia did her best. God bless her. That bitch
She
is
did her
traumatized.
best. Yeah, no.
Every last one of these sons of a bitches, if they'd made it, they'd be traumatized. They were traumatized
Yeah.
their last moment. That one's still traumatized.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Petra's traumatized. Everyone got trauma. Hooray!
Yippee! Casually adds to my notes that Petra is now terrified of wolves.
Fun fact, it was already on the list.
Yeah. But yeah.
Alright.
This was lots of fun, despite
so
the
much
trauma. Thank you for doing this with me, Vwild.
That was so much fun. And I
Oh,
am
yeah.
really delighted.
Oh.
Alright.
Thank you to our one listening audience member, Lewis.
And
Thank
any
you
who
for
come in
going
the future,
absolutely insane.
I'm looking forward to reading the comments later.
Heck yeah, any and all in the future, I'm so excited for.
It's y'all have fun and definitely sleep with the lights on, perhaps.